and welcome to this Hunter Headline podcast featuring Shivani Gupta. Shivani is a leader that has devoted more than 10 years of her career to helping others be great leaders. The Chief Passion Officer and founder of Hunter-based leadership and coaching firm Passionate People Institute and owner of Two and Dota Spas believes the key to effective leadership is love and passion. When she is not coaching leaders, Shivani is speaking and writing about leadership, business and personal development. In this fast-paced world, leaders also need to be able to find peace and balance in their work and personal lives. Welcome, Shivani.
Oh, thank you so much.
No worries at all. I guess it would be great to start with asking, what was the career path that led you to where you are now?
Well, look, I actually started off, my trade is I'm an electrical electronic engineer, and I started off working as an engineer and then decided that what I really wanted to do was work with people. So after working in engineering and then working in management for about 7 years, I decided to set up my own business, and I could just see how much more influence there was working with people one-on-one and with teams.
Excellent. So within the industry that you now work, if there was one thing you could change, what would that be?
One of the things I would change is that unfortunately in Australia we don't have a lot of regulations around who calls themselves a coach. And one of the things I would change is that I think to be able to work with people one-on-one, whether you're doing personal or whether you're doing, particularly when you're working at executive leadership levels, which I spend a lot of time doing, it would be great if we had more regulations around people who call themselves coaches, and that they would have to have a minimum of 10 to 15 years experience in the industry, and I would certainly change that in my industry.
Okay, great. Now looking to your business skills, with more than one business to lead, what tricks or methods do you have to manage your priorities and your time?
So one of the things I do is I tend to schedule probably about a month out in terms of the key things that I have to do. So the big initiatives, and I always make sure that I've got at least a day of planning every month, which looks at strategically what are the big things or the big ticket items that will really help us move that business forward, whichever business it might be that I'm leading. The other thing I do is I take a fair bit of time out for my own balance and to find my own inner peace. So I always spend some time a day, even if it's a minimum of 5 minutes a day, to do a meditation and to also do some yoga practice and do a bit of a stretch. And as I said, there's sometimes the minimum is only 5 minutes each, so 10 minutes a day, but if I've got time, I'll do about 45 minutes a day so that I get a bit centred and balanced so that, I try and practice what I preach.
Okay, and then looking closer to home, what do you believe makes business in the Hunter unique?
I love the fact that in the Hunter, we get an opportunity to run into the same people all the time. So we get an opportunity to build relationships, and it's almost like you stop and start relationships. So when I run into people, I'll go, oh, how's your child, or how was the end of year concert, or how was your trip overseas, which you don't often get to do in big cities. And I think that's a beautiful and wonderful thing about the Hunter, that we get an opportunity to build those relationships over many months and years, rather than in little bits where you do a lot of work with a person or an organisation. So many of my clients, a number of my clients I've had for the whole 12 years that I've run the business, I absolutely love.
Well, following on from that, what local business person or leader do you find inspiring?
Oh, look, I find lots of people inspiring. I love the people that are able to, run businesses and be entrepreneurs, and also love coming across people, like I came across people who run businesses for 25 years in the Hunter, and I just love the tenacity of that, because to be able to run a business, as we know that the dropout rate is so high for small businesses in the first 3 years, to be able to sustain that and recreate who you are and rebrand yourself and continue to add value, I just love the people that have been around for a long time.
And just to finish up today's Hunter Leader interview, how do you define the difference between a manager and a leader?
Well, there's so much that's been written about it. I find that the simplest version for me, which I often talk to my clients, is I believe that the leader sets the direction. So, for example, the leader will say, we're going to go from Newcastle to Brisbane, and they set the direction in terms of where they want to go, and I believe that the manager sets the speed. So the manager will say, look, if we're going there, are we going to drive? Are we going to fly? Who are we going to take with us? Have we got enough resources? So they do the things that require attention to detail and be able to create that and manage that process to be able to get from Newcastle to Brisbane.
What a perfect way to finish this interview. Thanks so much for your time today, Shivani.
Oh, and thanks so much for yours.
You can find Shivani at www.askshivani.com, and she is also on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn and YouTube.